gosh, Crystal just spent the last 2 hours inside this border patrol of Turkey because, all right, here is the Iraq border. Welcome to Iraqi Kurdistan region. Let's try this. Beautiful Earthlings. I am leaving the city of Midyat with this family that hosted me and adopted me. I'm so grateful. I'm packing up all my stuff and I will be attempting to enter Kurdistan, Iraq today. I'm very nervous. Last night I couldn't sleep because I was so anxious, and I dry heaved a little bit this morning because I'm so nervous. I just want to get in, then I'll figure out the rest. It'll be fine. So this family, they freaking packed me so much food. I was like, please stop giving me food. I can't carry this. I have no more space. I have so much crap. And they were like, you have to take this. We're happy that we know you have food to eat. And I was like, the border patrol are gonna laugh at me because I need to buy a mule or a donkey to carry all this stuff. So that was my morning. So we're packing up and we're gonna try to cross the border. I'm so excited. I don't know what's gonna happen. Let's do this. Our last spot where we could connect, and they're going left and I'm going right to Kotastan. Oh my gosh, so cute. Oh, my little heart. All right, let's try this. Let's see what happens. All right. It is 9:24 a.m. and I'm never up this early, but I have some things to do today, like trying to cross the border. So from Midyat to the border of Turkey and Kurdistan, Iraq, it is an hour 42 minutes, 131 kilometers, and your girl is bundled up. It is cold in this region, so I actually put my inner layer of my motorcycle jacket in for the first time since, I don't know, before Morocco? So it is cold, and I have a long sleeve on. I don't have my winter gloves. I don't think it's that cold yet. It was pretty cold yesterday. My fingers were pretty crispy, icy. So we'll probably pump gas before we cross the border just to try to use all my Turkish lira. And goodbye, Midyat. This is what hell Eastern Turkey looks like. Let's put some miles on. Let's do this. Oh my gosh, check out these landscapes. They're so beautiful. There's nothing out here. It's not even farmland. It's so wild. Look at this pass. Ooh, this guy's strap is loose. Look at all this. There's a security checkpoint. Let's see if they stop me. This guy has a gun. This guy is not letting me pass. Okay. Doo-doo-doo. Ooh. ID card. Oh, English. Good thing I looked ahead and saw them, because I was actually going to pull on a dirt road like right before and play with my drone. I would have been fucked! Oh my gosh! The universe is watching out for Crystal today!
Okay, so the line starts way back here. I need to get gas. Wait, am I going the right way? I'm confused.
All right, Crystal is at the border of Turkey and Iraq, and there's a really long line, so I thought there would be gas right at the border, but there wasn't, so I had to drive back to this town, Sipali or something, and I got gas. So I used all my Turkish money, all my Turkish lira. I bought a bag of sunflower seeds, which I don't eat, so I'm gonna give that away to someone, and some gum. So I'm trying to lighten my load right now. The border might take a while. I gotta have gas, food, water. That's all I need. Okay, let's try this.
All right, let's try this again. Let's exit Turkey.
Oh my gosh, Crystal just spent the last 2 hours inside this border patrol of Turkey because, okay, the process is actually pretty simple if you were told the right rules. So I was told, so I actually flew out of Turkey to take a break because I was losing a lot of weight and I was malnourished. So I flew to the UK to take a break, and then I was told by the airport border customs police officer that I can have 6 months for my vehicle. And I purposely timed my stay and my return so I'm under 6 months. However, they tell me here I'm only allowed 3 months, so I overstayed. I had to pay a penalty, and I did. That was not fun. I paid 5,400 Turkish lira in penalty, which is like $150 or something like that. Which is painful because I was trying to follow the rules and I was told the wrong rules. You know, I wouldn't purposely overstay if I just wouldn't purposely overstay to try to pay a fine. So I'm very frustrated. Actually, like cried in the office where they told me how much it was, because it's not like I spent it on food and enjoyed it. It's not like I got a massage and had some lavish experience. Like, it's literally just poof, gone, and I'm just really frustrated by that. Anyways, I stamped all my documents, so let's try to get into Iraq.
All right, here is the Iraq border. Welcome to Iraqi Kurdistan region. Let's try this.
Your girl made it.
Your girl made it. Oh my gosh, get out of here. Oh, it's really hot for some reason once I cross the border. Okay, so I need to cry. I'm really stressed. That took a lot longer than I thought, and I mean, there's a language barrier, which is fine, but just a lot was happening that I didn't understand. What's going on? Okay. This car went over here. Zaho, that's where I'm going. These big rigs have a tough time. Like, the line starts way beyond where this border patrol is, like miles and miles out, and it's stuck on the freeway. So let me get out of the security place and I'll talk to y'all.
Oh my gosh, you guys, Crystal doesn't even have time to process anything. So I crossed the border and I was like, the sun's setting, I gotta get a SIM card and figure what I'm gonna do. And so I was getting a SIM card and I was talking to the associate and I was telling, oh, I want to go to Acre for Nevros, which is, Acre is a city and Nevros is the Kurdish New Year. And I thought it was the whole weekend, but it actually passed. So it was only on the 20th and it's already the 22nd. And I thought it was the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And so I was just gonna like haul ass to Acre right now, which is like 6 hours away. And then I was talking to him, good thing I did, and he was like, it's over. And I was just like, I was rushing out of Turkey to go to Acre. Now what am I gonna do? And then we were just talking about like life and English and whatever. And he was like, if you want,
you can stay with me and my family and my mother and my sister. And then I started crying because I haven't processed the stress from crossing the border yet. And so my emotions are not balanced. And when I feel like I'm like an alien just landing into a new country every time. And so I was stressed from the border situation. I was down because I miss Acre, and then I was punched in the face with kindness, and I just started bawling. And he was like, "Why are you crying?" And of course he wouldn't understand all the emotions and like all that I went through. So now I'm in his car, and I put all my stuff in here, and we put my bike in a parking garage, and now I'm gonna stay with his family. So freaking nice. So once it gets settled, I'll recap what happened at the border. Crystal is in the city of Zaho. I would have pronounced that Zaho yesterday, but I've been educated. And this is actually the day after. So let's talk about the border experience. So as I was getting closer to the border, there was a very long line of big rigs, and I definitely wasn't waiting. So I cut all the way to the front, and there was only a car or two in front of me, but they were stopped at the gate, and nobody was moving for like 20 minutes. There was no one in like the little toll booth or anything. And then I saw a security guard walking by, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, it's being held up. There's issues." And I was like, "Oh, how long do we have to wait for?" And they said they don't know. So I started eating my lunch, and then they finally opened like 5 minutes later. I was so lucky. And then we went through, I had my passport checked, and they asked for all documents. They asked for the green card of the bike, 2 passenger lists, and then I actually got held up because they were saying, "Oh, you overstayed, your motorcycle overstayed." So Americans are allowed 3 months in Turkey, and your vehicle is allowed 6 months. Your vehicle is allowed 3 months, but I was told when I left the UK it was allowed 6 months, so I stayed 5.5. So I had to pay a fine, and I was not happy about this. I was actually really stressed out because I was going from office to office trying to figure out what happened, and I was trying to argue. Like, they were super nice about it, the Turkish border control and administration and everything. They're very polite, spoke a bit of English, and they're like, "You just have to pay or you can't leave." And there was no arguing with that. And even though I said, like, I was told 6 months, I was informed incorrectly, it didn't matter. And so I ended up having to pay, I would have had to pay 7,200 Turkish lira, but if you pay within 15 days, you get a 25% discount, which is kind of crazy to me because you would never get a reduction of fees in the US. So I paid 5,400 Turkish lira, which is about $140, and I cried because just the whole border crossing situation is stressful. I never know if I'm going to make it across or not, or if I need to operate on plan A, plan B, contingency plan. So I just started crying. But it was also like just the whole stress of the situation. There's an ATM at the border where conveniently you can withdraw any fees you owe, and I just paid it all. So I took this receipt, went back to the border control booth, they let me go. So I got stamped out of Turkey. So that's halfway. And so now I need to get into Kurdistan, Iraq. And so going into Kurdistan, Iraq, you need your passenger list, you need the green, little green card if your bike is European for a motor or a vehicle, and then you need a power of attorney document. And so this whole process took like 2 hours because you it's not just a straight shot, like they check everything out once. You have to, I don't even know what happened. Like your passport gets checked and then you pull over into a parking lot where your passport and your visa is checked. And because I was not a Kurdistan citizen, they had to check it extra. Maybe they had to verify my e-visa online or something. I don't really know, but it took like 20 minutes of them looking through the computer doing stuff. And then I had to, like, once I got that passport stamped, my visa verified, then I had to go to a few offices where I think it has to do with them. I don't think it's vehicle insurance, but it's like some sort of document that says I brought a vehicle in. And so I had to go to some office. They took the license plate of the bike and the registration and the power of attorney document. And then I had to, they gave me some paperwork, and then I had to go to another office and deliver it. And then they gave me like 2 forms that said I needed to carry this throughout Kurdistan and Iraq. And one of them I had to bring back to the previous office and pay some fee. It was $35. I have no idea what it was for. I think I'll Google translate the the form later, but I was just following what they were telling me to do. It spoke a bit of English, like go to office 4, go to office 5, go to office 7, go back to office 4, go back to office 3. Like, so I was just going like this for like 20 minutes, and the process is very manual. Like, they're writing things down, not through computer, and so it just takes longer that way. And that kind of gives me an idea of how this region operates, that it's not fast. Like, people aren't in a rush and are shoving people out of the way, which is just different, because I just remember being in Morocco and there are no lines. You just shove yourself to the front. But here they're pretty respectful. Or maybe they're treating me differently though, because I'm a tourist and female. There were no women at the border. It was just a crowd of men. Even on the bus, even walking across, even in cars, I barely saw any women, which is, I don't know. It just is what it is. I didn't feel unsafe or anything. And everyone was super friendly. Like, I don't speak any Kurdish, and like the officers were, and police officers were telling me what to do and where to go. And then someone would always step up. Like, a Kurdish person would always step up and be like, oh, you're supposed to stand on this side, not this number 2, that other number 2, even though they're both labeled number 2. And it was just very interesting. And even at the border, people are so nice to me. They're like, one guy was like, oh, he was from Norway but has lived here for a very long time, and he was like, you need to be careful, because I told him I'm going to go camping, and he was like, it's dangerous. And I was like, why is it dangerous? And he's like, some areas are not safe. And I was like, animals, people? And he's like, oh, you don't have to worry about the animals, it's the people. So that kind of tells me, I mean, it's like this everywhere, but I think they just want to be very careful about me. So yeah, once I crossed the border, I came into this city, Zaho, Z-A-K-H-O, which is 20 minutes away, and I immediately headed toward the SIM card store. And I actually stopped at that one first, because that's where Google showed me. And I was like, SIM card, because it was about like 4 p.m. and stuff closes early because it's Ramadan right now, and like they like go home too early to like break fast and have iftar, their first like big meal of the day. And I was like, Asia Cell, because you know that's how an American would pronounce Asia Cell, a SIM card store. But then he was like, Asia Cell, and then he pointed me across the street. So when I walked into this SIM card store, like, the associate Armand helped me so much. He speaks English and was like telling me about the region, what I should know, blah, blah, blah. And then today I followed him to work. We're just hanging out in the store. And yeah, so I'm overstimulated because I'm in a new country, and it always feels like, most of the time it feels like when I'm in a new country, I'm dropped into a new planet and I have to operate immediately. Like, I just have to hit the ground running. And it's not like Kurdistan is very different from Turkey and maybe Morocco, because those are more Muslim countries than the rest of Europe, but it's different. So I can show you, like, people park wherever the heck they want, and traffic's kind of crazy here. and there's like these small shops and stuff. So there's a lot of clothing stores, and I don't want to record people. There's a lot of clothing stores, there's a lot of fruit stands, and not many people speak English, which is okay. But they kind of, I don't know, I figured out a system to survive. Like 1, 2, 3, that one, this one, I don't want that. You kind of like figure out your own sign language, and yeah. So I'm probably gonna leave Zaho tomorrow and I don't know, ride into the mountains or something. I have no idea, but I will show you around Zaho a bit. Alright, we're in for a treat. This is Zaho's beloved Zaho Bridge, and this was built in the Roman Empire. It has a series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arches, and it's actually a pedestrian bridge. No motor vehicles are allowed, so you can walk across to the other side. And this is the Caba River. Look how calm it is. And banking on the left and right side is a whole pedestrian walkway, and it's popular in the nighttime because it's kind of hot in the day. And if you look back over here, you see these white tents here and here, and those are actually food stands, coffee stalls. There's I'd say it's like a cell phone case maker where you could take your own photo and put it on a cell phone case and it'll print it out for you. And there's like a pull-up bar challenge on the other side. Take a look at this bridge again. Isn't it so beautiful?